A hotel empire built on a promise to a president, a $100 million check that renamed an entire engineering school, and a secret stash of luxury apartments seized by the FBI. Most people think the kings of New York are the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, or the Trumps. They are wrong. Hidden behind the limestone facades of Central Park West and the glass towers of Tribeca is a new class of shadow royalty. These are the Indian dynasties that didn't just move to the Big Apple, they bought it. We are tracking the flight paths, the property deeds, and the bank transfers to uncover the 7 richest Indian families in New York. Wait until you see the #1 spot. We are talking about a family so powerful, they bought the most iconic hotel in the city just to have a place to stay when they visit. Number 7. The Fallen Kings, Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi. To understand the true scale of Indian wealth in New York, we first have to look at the fortunes that disappeared. We are starting our breakdown with the Fallen Kings, the billionaires who use New York real estate not just as a home, but as a vault. First, let's look at the man who once called himself the King of Good Times, Vijay Mallya. Before his airline collapsed and he fled to the UK, Mallya was quietly assembling a real estate kingdom on Manhattan's East Side. Public records from the New York City Department of Finance reveal that Mallya didn't just buy an apartment, he bought the skyline. In 2010, while his Kingfisher Airlines was bleeding cash back in India, Mallya dropped $2.4 million on a penthouse in the legendary Trump Plaza. But that was just the appetizer. Records show he purchased 3 separate units in the same tower, including a penthouse in his daughter's name. This wasn't a standard 3-bedroom purchase. We are talking about a residence with sweeping views of the East River, custom marble foyers, and the kind of gold-plated fixtures that defined the Trump aesthetic of the era. While his employees in India were allegedly going unpaid, Mallya was paying thousands of dollars a month in common charges just to keep these Manhattan trophies polished. It is a classic example of asset parking, moving capital from a volatile business into the stable bedrock of New York limestone. But if Mallya was the king of good times, our next subject was the king of bling. Nirav Modi, the diamond merchant to the stars. Before he became one of the most wanted fugitives in the world, Modi allegedly used stolen funds to buy his way into the most exclusive address in the city, the Ritz-Carlton on Central Park South. This isn't just a hotel, it is a fortress of old money. Modi purchased Unit 3601 for $25 million. Let me paint a picture of what $25 million gets you at the Ritz. We are talking about a floor-through apartment where the windows frame Central Park like a living painting. The unit features herringbone hardwood floors, a library paneled in rare mahogany, and access to room service from a Michelin-starred kitchen downstairs. But the luxury didn't stop there. When the authorities finally cracked down on the massive Punjab National Bank scam, they found that Modi and his family had also purchased a unit at the Essex House nearby. The combined value of his global seized assets was estimated at over $637 million. The fall of these two men reveals a dark truth about New York luxury. For the ultra-wealthy, a Manhattan apartment is more than a home. It is an insurance policy. It is a place to park $10, $20, or $30 million in a currency that doesn't fluctuate. But while Mallya and Modi lost their empires, the next family on our list built theirs on a foundation that even the FBI couldn't shake. Number 6. Purnendu Chatterjee, the private equity ghost. Now we move from the flashy fugitives to the shadows. If you walk past the most expensive buildings on Fifth Avenue, you will never see this man's name on the buzzer. He doesn't give flamboyant interviews. He doesn't host reality TV shows. His name is Purnendu Chatterjee, and he is perhaps the most successful Indian investor you have never heard of. Chatterjee is the founder of the Chatterjee Group, TCG, a massive private equity empire headquartered right in Midtown Manhattan. His net worth is a closely guarded secret, often estimated in the multiple billions, built on deals that move entire industries, from petrochemicals in India to life sciences in the US. His story is the ultimate Wall Street insider narrative. He started at McKinsey, the consulting firm that breeds CEOs, before becoming a close associate of George Soros, one of the most famous and feared investors in history. When you invest with Soros, you don't buy a condo in Queens. You buy the crown jewels. Reports indicate that Chatterjee lives in one of the most exclusive pre-war buildings overlooking Central Park. In this world, prices are not listed on Zillow. Apartments trade in whisper listings for 30 million, 40 million, or 50 million. But his real wealth isn't in his living room, it's in his portfolio. Through TCG, Chatterjee controls Haldia Petrochemicals, a giant industrial complex in India. But his New York power play is in real estate and tech. He owns TCG Real Estate, which controls millions of square feet of commercial biotech parks. This is a different level of wealth. It is infrastructure wealth. While other billionaires buy jet planes to show off, Chatterjee buys the companies that make the fuel. He operates in the blue ocean of private equity, where the deals are complex, the timelines are long, and the payoffs are astronomical. For example, his firm invested heavily in LabVantage, a company that makes software for laboratories. It sounds boring, right? Wrong. That boring software is used by the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world. Every time they discover a new drug, Chatterjee gets richer. He represents the intellectual capital of the Indian diaspora. He didn't inherit a factory. He built a financial engine. His lifestyle in New York is one of quiet, terrifying competence. He eats at the clubs where membership is by invitation only, and he vacations in places that don't appear on travel blogs. But while Chatterjee prefers the shadows, our next tycoon spent his career in the blinding spotlight of the global financial crisis. Number 5. Vikram Pandit, the $18 million banker. Imagine being the man responsible for saving the world's biggest bank while the global economy melts down around you. That was the reality for Vikram Pandit, the former CEO of Citigroup. Pandit is not just a banker, he is a financial architect. He took home over $200 million from the sale of his hedge fund, Old Lane, to Citi, before ascending to the throne of the banking world. And when a man with a 9-figure payout needs a home in New York, he doesn't settle for a penthouse. He buys a piece of history. Pandit dropped $17.9 million on a legendary apartment in the Beresford, one of the limestone Jesus buildings on Central Park West. This isn't just an apartment building. It is a vertical city for the masters of the universe. The unit he bought was previously owned by the actor Tony Randall. It is a sprawling 10-room palace with views that command the entire sweep of Central Park. Let's break down what $17.9 million buys you in the Beresford. It buys you a private elevator landing because seeing neighbors in the hall is for commoners. It buys you 20 windows facing the park and the Museum of Natural History. It buys you a library with a wood-burning fireplace, coffered ceilings, and a formal dining room that can seat 20 people comfortably. But Pandit's wealth goes beyond one apartment. After leaving Citi, he didn't retire to play golf. He founded the Orogen Group, an investment firm that is betting big on the future of finance and technology. He also has a deep connection to the academic elite of the city. He serves on the board of Columbia University, his alma mater. This is a key trait of the New York Indian elite. They dominate the boardrooms and the classrooms. Pandit's story is a masterclass in resilience. He took a salary of $1 during the worst of the financial crisis to show solidarity, but don't let that fool you. His exit packages and stock options ensured he remains one of the wealthiest financiers in the city. His lifestyle is the epitome of the Upper West Side intellectual. It is less about gold-plated toilets and more about rare first-edition books, patronage of the arts, and quiet dinners with Federal Reserve chairmen. But while Pandit deals in cold, hard cash, our next family deals in something even more valuable: legacy. Number 4. The Tandon family, the $100 million name. In New York City, there is one ultimate flex. It's not owning a building, it's putting your name on the building. Enter Chandrika and Ranjan Tandon. If the name Tandon sounds familiar, it's because you see it every time you walk past the NYU Tandon School of Engineering. In 2015, this power couple dropped a bomb on the philanthropic world. They donated $100 million to New York University. It was one of the largest gifts ever given by the Indian American community. But who are they? Chandrika Tandon is a force of nature. She was the first Indian-American woman to be elected partner at McKinsey and Company. In the 80s and 90s, she was fixing broken companies and restructuring billion-dollar deals. Her husband, Ranjan Tandon, is a hedge fund titan. He founded Libra Advisors, a fund that managed billions of dollars in assets. Together, they live in a luxury apartment on Park Avenue, the street that defines old-school New York wealth. While we don't have the floor plans, Park Avenue co-ops are notorious for their gatekeepers. You can have $1 billion, but if the co-op board doesn't like you, you don't get in. The Tandons got in. But here's the twist that makes this family unique. After conquering the business world, Chandrika didn't just sit back. She became a Grammy-nominated musician. Yes, you heard that right. The woman who restructured banks also released an album, Soul Call, which was nominated for a Grammy in the Best Contemporary World Music category. This is the Maslow's hierarchy of wealth. Level 1. Make money, McKinsey hedge funds. Level 2. Buy luxury, Park Avenue. Level 3. Change the world, the 100 donation. Level 4. Self-actualization, Grammy-nominated artist. The Tandons represent the Renaissance wealth of New York. They aren't just rich, they are cultured, educated, and deeply embedded in the fabric of the city. They prove that the ultimate luxury isn't a car or a watch. It's the ability to reinvent yourself. But while the Tandons prefer the quiet halls of academia and concert halls, our next family built their empire on the loud, neon-soaked streets of Times Square. Number 3. The Chatwall family, the Maharajas of Manhattan. If you have ever partied on a rooftop in Manhattan, sipping a $25 cocktail while looking at the Empire State Building, you have probably paid rent to the Chatwall family. Sant Singh Chatwall and his son Vikram Chatwall are the undisputed kings of the New York hospitality scene. They didn't just build hotels, they created scenes. Their empire, Hampshire Hotels Management, owns and operates thousands of rooms across the city. But their crown jewel is the Dream Hotel brand. The Dream downtown in Chelsea is a fortress of nightlife. It features a glass-bottomed pool, a rooftop club that prints money, and rooms that cost more for a Tuesday night than most people pay for rent in a week. But their portfolio goes deeper. They own the Chatwall, a luxury hotel on 44th Street. This isn't a trendy party spot. This is pure Art Deco elegance. It was the first hotel in New York to be invited into the prestigious Luxury Collection by Starwood. The Chatwall family's personal real estate is just as loud as their hotels. Sant Singh Chatwall famously lives in a $20 million penthouse on the Upper East Side. It is the kind of place where Bill and Hillary Clinton have come for dinner. The family has been one of the biggest fundraisers for the Democratic Party, using their wealth to buy access to the highest corridors of power. His son, Vikram, is the Playboy Prince. He has been known to zip around Manhattan in Aston Martins and hang out with supermodels. He famously bought a $6 million condo at 150 Charles Street, a building known for housing celebrities like Ben Stiller and John Bon Jovi. But the Chatwall's biggest flex? The Plaza Hotel. For a brief period, the Chatwall family held a 5% stake in the most famous hotel in the world, the Plaza. It was the ultimate status symbol, a way of saying, "We have arrived." However, this empire wasn't built without controversy. Sant Singh Chatwall has faced legal battles and federal investigations over campaign finance. But in true New York fashion, he bounced back. The Chatwall story is the American hustle on steroids, a Sikh refugee who started with nothing, washed dishes, and ended up owning the skyline. They remind us that in New York, money buys forgiveness, and real estate buys immortality. But even the Chatwalls bow down to the sheer industrial scale of our number 2 spot. Number 2. The Mittal family, the steel tycoon's penthouse. We know Lakshmi Mittal as the London-based steel magnate. We know about his Taj Mittal mansion in Kensington Palace Gardens. But his footprint in New York is one of the most significant real estate purchases in the history of the city. In 2008, Mittal made headlines when he reportedly purchased a penthouse at 15 Central Park West for $50 million. Some reports say significantly more depending on the final closing costs and renovations. Let me explain why 15 Central Park West is important. This building is known as Limestone Jesus. It is the most powerful address in finance. Neighbors include the CEO of Goldman Sachs and Denzel Washington. The unit Mittal bought wasn't for him. Reports suggest it was a pad for his son, Aditya Mittal, or possibly an investment for the family trust. Imagine being a student or a young professional, and your starter home is a $50 million penthouse on Central Park West. The apartment is a fortress. It features 360-degree views of Manhattan, a private terrace that is larger than most suburban backyards. Finishes made of the same marble used in the actual Taj Mahal, a signature Mittal move. The Mittals operate on a scale that is hard to comprehend. When Lakshmi Mittal's daughter Vanisha got married, he spent $60 million on the wedding. He rented out the Palace of Versailles in France. That same spare, no-expense mentality applies to their New York holdings. While they may not live in NYC full-time, their presence is felt in the upper echelons of the real estate market. They are the whales. When a Mittal enters the market, prices go up. This purchase signifies the global citizen status of the modern Indian billionaire. They don't live in one city, they live in a circuit. London for the summer, Saint-Tropez for the yacht season, Mumbai for the business, and New York for the portfolio. But there is one family that outshines them all. A family that didn't just buy a condo, but bought an entire landmark hotel and is currently building a mystery mansion in the coolest neighborhood in the city. Number 1. Mukesh Ambani, the King of Kings. We have arrived at the number 1 spot, the richest man in Asia, the man who built a 27-story house in Mumbai just because he could. Mukesh Ambani. You might think his empire is confined to India. You would be wrong. Ambani is quietly executing a takeover of New York's most ultra-luxury assets. Let's look at the crown jewel, the Mandarin Oriental New York. In 2022, Ambani's Reliance Industries acquired a controlling stake in this iconic hotel for $98.15 million. This isn't just a hotel. It is the pinnacle of New York luxury, located at Columbus Circle, hovering above Central Park. The presidential suite here costs $36,000 a night. The ballroom is where the world's elite get married. The spa is considered one of the best in the Western Hemisphere. By buying this hotel, Ambani didn't just buy real estate, he bought a seat at the table of New York's hospitality royalty. He now controls the venue where Wall Street banks hold their galas and where foreign dignitaries sleep. But that wasn't enough. He needed a home. Reports recently surfaced that Ambani-linked entities purchased a massive building in Tribeca at Hubert Street. This isn't a penthouse, it is an entire building. Tribeca is the coolest, most expensive zip code in New York. It's where Taylor Swift and Jay-Z live. The building at 11 Hubert Street is a rare gem, a historic property that can be converted into a single-family mega mansion. The price tag? A cool $17.4 million just for the shell. But the renovation plans are where the real money is. Insiders estimate that turning this property into a Mukesh-level residence will cost another $30 to $50 million. We are talking about plans that likely include a private underground garage, rare in Tribeca, a rooftop pool with views of the World Trade Center, a private spa and wellness center rivaling the Mandarin Oriental itself. Why Tribeca? Because it offers privacy. Unlike the glass towers of Midtown, Tribeca allows a billionaire to slip in and out unnoticed. It is the perfect stealth wealth sanctuary for a man whose face is on every billboard in India. This move signals a shift. Ambani is no longer just an Indian billionaire. He is a global titan, planting his flag in the financial capital of the world. He owns the hotel where the elite sleep, and he is building a fortress in the neighborhood where the cool kids live. He is the ultimate example of the hidden wealth doctrine. He doesn't need to scream about his wealth in New York. He just buys the building, renovates it behind a tarp, and owns the block. From the fallen empires of Mallya and Modi to the rising fortresses of Ambani and Mittal, New York City is the ultimate playground for India's wealthiest families. They come here to hide their money, flaunt their money, and sometimes to lose their money. They have traded palaces in Rajasthan for penthouses in Manhattan, but the game remains the same: owning the land that everyone else just walks on. So, which of these assets blew your mind? Was it the $100 million check to NYU or the secret building in Tribeca? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to see what these families own in London, where the houses are even bigger and the price tags are even crazier, click the video on your screen right now. You won't believe what the Poonawalla family just bought. Subscribe for more investigations into the world of hidden wealth. I'll see you in the next one.